Episode 3: The Tea Party Terror. The Church Sisters' High Tea was not just an event, it was a battlefield. It was where reputations were seasoned, cooked, and served with a side of cucumber sandwiches. Miss Enid arrived at the Parish Hall looking like a fortress. She wore her claret-red dress and a hat so wide it required a permit to turn corners. But beneath the hat, behind her lips, a chemical experiment was taking place. Enid had used a record-breaking amount of Fixodent adhesive. She didn't just line the plates, she had built a pink, gooey foundation that made her mouth feel like it was filled with half-cured cement. Her face was frozen in a permanent, slightly terrifying smile. "Good evening, Sister Enid," the minister's wife said, drifting by.
Good evening.
Enid replied. She didn't move her jaw. She spoke like a ventriloquist whose strings were pulled too tight. She spotted her target, Miss June. June was sitting at the center table, holding a china cup and looking like a vulture in a lace doily. Enid marched over and sat down directly across from her.
Enid, you look stiff.
June remarked, squinting.
You catch a crick in your neck? No, June.
Enid squeezed the words out.
Me just poised. It call elegance. You should try it sometime.
Then came the tea. It wasn't just warm. It was boiling. The steam rose from the cups like ghosts of gossip past. Enid took a sip. She felt the hot liquid hit her palate. Instantly, she felt a sickening sensation. The heat was doing exactly what she feared. It was melting the unbreakable bond. The Fixodent turned from cement into grease. Sliddy-dee. The bottom plate drifted to the right.
Enid.
June leaned in, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper.
Me hear say Sister Martha daughter come back from America with a belly. You think that's true?
This was the bait. The juicy, scandalous bait. Enid's brain screamed for her to comment, but her mouth was busy holding back a mutiny. If she opened her lips to say belly, the bottom teeth would likely slide down her throat. Enid's eyes started to water. She felt the top plate detach and hover precariously over her tongue. She was balancing 2 pieces of loose plastic in a sea of hot peppermint tea and saliva.
Why you silent, Enid? Usually you have more to say than a radio station.
June poked, her grin widening. She knew. She smelled blood in the water. Enid felt the bottom plate tip over. It was now sitting vertically against her cheek. She had 2 choices: surrender and let the teeth fall into her tea, or perform a power clench. She chose violence. Enid clamped her jaw shut with the force of a hydraulic press. Clack! The sound was so loud it silenced the table.
June.
Enid whispered, her voice vibrating with the strain of holding the rebels in place.
If you don't move your face from mine, me go and bite you. And it not gonna be me. It gonna be the teeth. Them hungry and them cranky.
She gave one more aggressive snap of her jaw. Snap, clap! June gasped, nearly knocking over her sugar bowl.
Lord, Enid, you a get mad? No.
Enid stood up, her hat cherries rattling like a warning bell.
Me catch victory.
She walked out of that hall with the grace of a woman who had just survived a landmine field. She didn't look back until she reached the gravel path. The moment she was alone, she let out a long, whistling breath. The teeth immediately slumped into the floor of her mouth, exhausted from the struggle.
Wanna win the battle today?
She muttered, tasting the bitter remnants of melted glue.
But tomorrow we see the specialist. And if him can't fix uno, me know a blacksmith down the road who have a heavy hammer.
Episode 4: The Dentist's Reckoning. The waiting room of Dr. Reed's dental emporium smelled like lavender-scented fear and industrial-strength mouthwash. Miss Enid sat on the edge of her plastic chair, her handbag gripped in her lap like a shield. Inside that bag, wrapped in a lace handkerchief, lay the twins. They were in solitary confinement after the Tea Party disaster, and Enid was dressed in her war clothes, a stiffly starched Sunday blouse and her most judgmental spectacles. When the nurse called her name, Enid marched into the surgery. Dr. Reed was a young man, fresh out of university, with skin as smooth as a peeled onion and a nervous habit of adjusting his glasses.
Good morning, Miss Enid.
He chirped, oblivious to the storm clouds gathering on her brow.
How are the new dentures? Settling in well.
Enid didn't speak. She reached into her bag, pulled out the handkerchief, and slammed the teeth onto his silver tray with a sound like a gavel hitting a block.
Settling?
She echoed, her voice a low rumble.
Doctor, these teeth aren't teeth. These are insurgents. These are double agents sent by the devil to ruin my social standing and make me look like a fool in front of Miss June.
I don't understand.
Reed stammered.
Understand this.
Enid pointed a shaky finger at the plastic plates.
When me talk, them dance. When me eat, them strike. When me drink tea, them melt. Me pay you good money. Money when me could I use to paint my house or buy a price heifer. And wanna give me 2 pieces of plastic that have more attitude than a bus driver.
Dr. Reed gingerly picked up the dentures. He looked at the base, the ridge, and the alignment.
Well, Miss Enid,
He started, his voice trembling slightly.
it seems the suction in the upper vault is failing because your palate is particularly spirited, and the lower arch.
Spirit
Enid interrupted.
is not spirit, it's sabotage. Check the alignment, doctor. Because every time I try bite a piece of jerk chicken, the top one go north and the bottom one go south. Them a try divide and conquer my face.
Reed sighed and began the process of relining. He applied a thick, gooey paste to the dentures and prepared to reset them in her mouth.
Now, Miss Enid, open wide. I need you to bite down and hold it for 3 minutes. This will create a vacuum seal that not even Hurricane Melissa could break.
As Enid bit down on the cold, minty goo, she stared directly into Dr. Reed's eyes. It was a silent vow. If this doesn't work, there isn't enough Fixodent in Jamaica to save you from my wrath. 3 minutes felt like 3 years. Outside, a dog barked. In the hallway, the nurse hummed. Inside Enid's mouth, the new twins were being forged. Finally, the doctor signaled her to open. He pulled and he tugged. He grunted. The teeth didn't budge. They were anchored like the roots of an ancient silk cotton tree.
There,
Reed panted, wiping sweat from his forehead.
try that.
Enid stood up. She did a little test talk.
The deacon is a worthless thief who spend the church fence money upon a new muffler.
She whispered. The words came out as sharp as a machete. No lisp, no click, no somersault. She reached into her bag, pulled out a dry, crusty donkey corn biscuit she had brought for the occasion, and took a massive, aggressive bite. Crunch! The teeth held. The biscuit surrendered. The power dynamic of the kitchen had been restored. Enid adjusted her hat and looked at herself in the dental mirror. She looked formidable. She looked like a woman who could eat a whole cow if she was in the mood.
All right, doctor.
She said, softening her tone by exactly 1%.
You save your skin today, but tell the laboratory people say if them ever send me rebel teeth again, I'm going to send them back with a piece of my mind and a piece of the chicken bone where they couldn't chew.
She walked out of the clinic, her heels clicking rhythmically on the tile. As she passed the receptionist, she gave a wide, gleaming, perfectly seated grin. Tonight, she wasn't having porridge. Tonight, she was going home to cook the hardest, toughest, most stubborn piece of oxtail in the parish, and she was going to enjoy every single bite.